You ever grab the pull-up bar, crank out a couple reps, and think, man, why is this still so hard? What if I told you that most people who struggle aren't actually weak, they're just using a technique that secretly cuts their power in half? And if you fix it, you could literally double your pull-ups in the next 30 days. Sounds bold, right? Stick with me for a few minutes and you'll see exactly why it's true. Let me ask you something. When you jump up to the bar, what's the very first thing your body does? Most people shrug their shoulders up, legs swinging, rib cage flaring out like they're trying to crawl away from gravity. That tiny shrug, barely noticeable, kills more pull-ups than lack of strength ever will. If you're thinking, wait, I do that, but is it really that big of a deal? Oh yeah. It's like trying to lift a heavy box with bent wrists. You can still try, but you've already thrown away your strongest leverage. Here's the sneaky part. Your body thinks it's doing the right thing. It's trying to get you closer to the bar by any means necessary. But that shoulder shrug actually disconnects the muscles that are supposed to do the heavy lifting. Your lats. Imagine your lats as the thick ropes of an elevator. If those ropes go slack for a split second, the whole system loses power. That's your pull-up. Now before I reveal the fix, I want you to picture something. Imagine a skyscraper. What's the one part that decides how high it can safely go? The foundation. If the foundation is wobbly, nothing above it works the way it should. Your pull-up has a foundation too, and almost nobody sets it before they pull. I'll show you exactly how that foundation works in a moment. But first, I want you to notice your own habits. Next time you grab the bar, do you tense your neck? Do your legs swing? Does your chest pop forward like you're trying to cheat the height? If so, you're not alone. This is the trap almost everyone falls into. I'm going to show you the simple switch that locks your whole body into power mode. But hold on to that thought for a second, because once you understand this one concept, the rest of the technique is going to feel like a series of light bulbs turning on, one after another. Here's the part almost nobody talks about, the hidden gear your body has before the first inch of a pull-up. And once you learn how to use it, everything changes. Before you even think about pulling, you need to set your shoulders, not by squeezing them up toward your ears, that's the mistake we just exposed, but by pulling them down and slightly back, like you're trying to slip them into your back pockets. Feel that? That tiny controlled drop? That's your lats waking up. That's your foundation locking in. If you're not sure whether you're doing it right, try this quick test. Hang from the bar and keep your arms completely straight. Now, without bending your elbows, pull your chest up just an inch by lowering your shoulders. That small motion is what we call a scap pull, and it's the secret switch that connects your arms to your back. The difference between doing pull-ups with or without this switch is like trying to tow a car with a shoestring versus a steel cable. Think about how much sense that makes. Ever tried to open a heavy door by the fragile end of the handle instead of gripping it near the base? It flexes, bends, resists you. But when you grab the sturdy part, the whole thing moves effortlessly. Your arms are the handle. Your lats are the sturdy part. Lock the two together, and suddenly every rep feels smoother, easier, more controlled. Now here's where things get interesting. Once you set your shoulders, your entire body starts to organize itself around that position. Your core tightens without you forcing it. Your legs stop swinging. Your ribs tuck down slightly. It's like your body says, oh, so this is what we're doing, and turns into one solid unit instead of a bunch of parts arguing with each other. But don't jump ahead yet. The shoulder set is just level 1. In the next part, I'll show you how to build on this and fix the second biggest pull-up killer. A tiny mistake people make with their grip that drains strength almost instantly. Let's talk about your grip, because this tiny detail is silently stealing a chunk of your pulling power. And the wild part? Most people have no idea they're doing it. Watch this. When you grab the bar, do your fingers curl around it first, and then your thumb lazily wraps underneath as an afterthought? Or worse, does your thumb sit on the same side as your fingers because it feels more comfortable? If you do that, you're basically disconnecting one of your strongest force transmitters, your forearms. Your grip is the very first link in the chain, and a weak link at the bottom means less force reaches the top. Imagine trying to drag a heavy sled with a rope tied to a slippery plastic ring. You'll pull, but the ring twists, slips, fights back. Now replace that ring with a solid metal hook. Boom! Suddenly you're transferring every ounce of strength straight into the rope. That's the difference between a lazy grip and an active power grip. Here's the tweak that changes everything. Wrap your thumb around the bar, like you're trying to pinch the bar between your thumb and the top of your index finger. Squeeze the bar, not with your whole hand at once, but starting from the pinky side. Your pinky and ring finger should actually be doing most of the gripping. Why? Because that pulls your elbows slightly inward and turns your lats fully on. It's like tightening the last bolt on a machine. It suddenly runs smoother. Try this right now. Grab an imaginary bar in front of you. First, grip mostly with your index and middle fingers. Notice how your elbows drift out. Now shift the pressure toward your pinky. See how your elbows naturally tuck closer to your sides? That's your strongest pulling path. You're literally aligning your joints to deliver maximum force upward instead of bleeding power outward. And here's the kicker. When you combine the shoulder set you learned earlier with this power grip, something clicks. You feel locked in, stable, ready. Most beginners never feel this connected tension, not because they're weak, but because nobody ever teaches them how to create it. But we're not done yet. You've got your shoulders set. You've got your grip optimized. Now we need to talk about the movement itself, the path your body should follow, and the one subtle cue that makes you pull twice as efficiently with the same effort. Now here's where the real magic happens. The part of the pull-up almost nobody feels, but once you get it, your reps skyrocket like someone just removed the weight vest you didn't know you were wearing. Most people think a pull-up is all about yanking yourself straight up, but that's actually the slowest, hardest way. If you pull straight up, your elbows flare, your shoulders shift forward, and suddenly you're fighting gravity with the smallest muscles in your upper body. No wonder most people gas out at 3 reps. Instead, picture this. You're not pulling up. You're pulling toward the bar. Small difference in words, massive difference in strength. Imagine the bar is trying to run away from you, and you're trying to drag it down to your chest. The moment you think this way, your elbows move in a tighter path. Your chest rises naturally, and your lats take over like they've been waiting for the invitation. Here's the subtle cue that changes everything. Lead with your elbows, not your chin. That sounds weird, but try this. Sit or stand where you are. Pretend your elbows have invisible strings pulling them down toward your back pockets. What does your chest do? It lifts. What do your shoulders do? They settle down. And what does your upper back feel like? Engaged, tight, ready. That's the pull-up path you want. Elbows driving down and slightly behind you. Your body follows the elbows. Every inch of the movement becomes smoother, more efficient, more powerful. Think of your elbows like the wheels of a train. If they're on the tracks, close to your ribs, you glide. If they fly off the tracks, flaring out wide, you crash into effort you don't need to use. Now picture the wrong way. Someone pulling straight up with elbows flying out, face straining, body shaking like a loose ladder. They're fighting physics. Now picture the right way. Shoulders set, grip locked, elbows pulling down like they're carving 2 lines next to the ribs. Smooth, controlled, efficient. And here's the coolest part. When you use this elbow-driven path, your reps don't just feel easier, they actually stack on each other. Your first rep sets up the second sets up the third, because your body stays in a strong position instead of slowly falling apart. But stay with me, because the most important element is still coming. You know how to start the movement. You know how to grip. You know the stronger pulling path. Now we need to fix the one thing that ruins every pull-up session for beginners and advanced lifters alike. The core. Your core is the stabilizer, the silent engine, the thing that keeps your whole body from leaking energy. And there's one specific way to lock it in, so every rep feels like it's being powered by your entire body instead of just your arms. Your core is the deal breaker. The difference between a pull-up that feels like a full-body power move and one that feels like a chaotic struggle. And the crazy part? Most people try to tighten their core in all the wrong ways. Here's the typical mistake. People jump onto the bar and instantly arch their lower back. Their ribs flare out, their legs drift behind them, and suddenly their whole body is shaped like a banana. That arch might feel natural, but it's secretly draining your strength, rep after rep. Imagine trying to fire a cannon from a canoe. No stability, no control, all energy wasted. But now check this out. The correct pull-up core position is actually the opposite. Think about gently pulling your ribcage down toward your hips. Not crunching, not squeezing your six-pack, just a quiet tightening in the front of your body. This instantly turns your torso into a solid plank instead of a sagging bridge. And once your midsection locks in, your pull-up becomes way more efficient. Let me give you a visual. Imagine your core is the steel beam of a skyscraper. If that beam bends, the whole building shifts and sways. But when it's straight, everything above it can climb higher without wobbling. That's your pull-up. A locked-in core is the beam that lets the rest of your body rise smoothly. Here's a cue that works every time. Think about zipping your ribs toward your pelvis, like you're quietly tightening a seatbelt around your midsection. As soon as you do this, your legs stop swinging, your lower back stops arching, your entire body becomes one tight line of force. And the moment you pull from that position, you feel the difference immediately. Now combine this with the earlier steps. Shoulders set down, pinky-driven grip, elbows pulling toward your back pockets, and you're no longer doing a pull-up, you're doing a power pull-up, one that uses your whole body as a single solid unit. But we're still missing one last piece, the finish, because how you end each rep decides whether you build real strength or just grind and waste energy. And there's a simple advanced tweak at the top of the movement that most people have never felt before. And once you unlock it, your reps don't just double, they feel almost effortless.